What if the strength you seek has never been outside of you? What if the peace you crave is not found in a calmer world, but in a stronger mind? There are ancient truths, hard-won and battle-tested, that hold the key to unlocking the unshakable man within. 5 truths men must master. Stoic strength, emotional control, compiled and published by Stoic Dominion. Lesson 1. The truth of your control. Imagine a king standing on the highest battlement of his castle. His gaze sweeps across the vast lands that stretch to the horizon. He sees the rolling hills, the distant mountains, the unpredictable weather, and the independent towns and villages. He knows that he cannot command the sun to shine, nor the rain to fall. He cannot dictate the thoughts or feelings of every citizen in his domain. To attempt such a thing would be madness, a path to frustration and ruin. But then he turns his gaze inward, to the castle itself. He looks at his guards, his courtiers, his own thoughts, his own decrees. This, he understands, is his true kingdom. The castle walls, the discipline of his soldiers, the integrity of his commands, this is where his power truly lies. This brings us to the most fundamental inner conflict a man faces: the war between his desire to control the world and the reality of his limited influence. We are raised to be agents of change, to impose our will upon the world and shape it to our liking. We want to control our career trajectory, the opinions others have of us, the health of our loved ones, and the outcomes of our ventures. The problem statement is this: this desire to rule the outer world, a world that is fundamentally untamable, is the primary source of a man's anxiety, anger, and feelings of powerlessness. We exhaust ourselves in futile battles, trying to command the weather outside our castle walls. We become frustrated tyrants of circumstances we can never truly govern. When the world inevitably defies our will, we feel like failed kings, our sense of strength shattered, not because we are weak, but because we have laid claim to a kingdom that was never ours to rule. The transformative solution, the first and most vital truth a man must master, is to understand the geography of his true kingdom. This is the great Stoic truth of the dichotomy of control. It is the practice of drawing a clear, bright line in the sand of reality, separating what is within your castle from what lies outside it. The core idea is that your strength and peace do not come from expanding your control over the external world, but from perfecting your command over your inner one. Inside your castle, within your absolute control, are your thoughts, your judgments, your choices, your principles, and the effort you choose to exert. Outside the walls are literally all other things: your reputation, your wealth, your health, the actions of others, and the outcomes of events. To embrace this truth is to abdicate a throne of anxiety in order to claim a crown of unshakable inner peace. This ancient wisdom is not a call to passivity, it is a call to strategic action. The king who understands his domain does not neglect the world outside. He observes it, anticipates its moves, and acts with wisdom. But he does not waste a single soldier of his will trying to fight battles on land he does not own. He focuses his resources on maintaining the strength of his fortress, the discipline of his mind, and the integrity of his character. This makes him paradoxically more powerful and effective. He is free to act with courage and precision because his sense of worth and stability is not dependent on the chaotic, unpredictable world outside. He is the master of his own kingdom. To begin the practice of ruling your true kingdom, you must become a vigilant gatekeeper. For the next week, your task is to observe every anxiety, every frustration, every surge of anger that arises within you. As each disturbance appears, you must challenge it as a sentry challenges a stranger at the gate. You must ask one simple question: does this concern the kingdom within my walls or the world outside? Do not just ask it intellectually, feel the question. If you are angry because someone cut you off in traffic, stop. The gatekeeper in your mind must step forward and declare, this person's driving is outside the walls. It is not part of my kingdom. My anger is a traitorous response I am allowing inside. If you are anxious about a presentation tomorrow, the gatekeeper must make a distinction. The audience's reaction is outside the walls. My preparation, my practice, my mindset, these are inside my kingdom. I will focus my energy there. This practice of mental sorting is the daily work of a true king. At first, you will find that almost all of your disturbances are related to the external world. You will see how much energy you have been wasting. As you consistently challenge these intruders, you will begin to feel a profound shift. You are not suppressing your feelings. You are examining their credentials and denying entry to those that have no legitimate business in your mind. The benefit is the dawn of true mental clarity. The constant, low-level hum of anxiety begins to fade. Your mind becomes less cluttered, more focused. You will feel your personal power coalesce, no longer scattered across 1,000 external worries, but concentrated within your own sovereign mind. You are learning to rule the only kingdom that will ever truly be yours. Mastering the truth of your control is the essential foundation of Stoic strength. Once you understand the borders of your kingdom, you must learn to manage the powerful forces that operate within it. In our next lesson, we will confront the wild, untamed stallions of the soul, your emotions. If you are ready to claim the throne of your own mind, declare it in the comments below. I am the king of this castle. Your declaration of sovereignty strengthens our entire alliance. And please subscribe to Stoic Dominion and like this video to fortify our shared mission. Lesson 2. The truth of your emotions. Imagine a master horseman given a wild, powerful stallion. The horse is a magnificent creature, full of fire, strength, and spirit. It is not an evil animal. Its nature is simply untamed. The novice would approach this challenge in one of two foolish ways. He might try to break the horse's spirit with pure, brutal force, turning the magnificent animal into a cowed, lifeless servant. Or, fearing its power, he might let the horse run wild, allowing it to throw him to the ground and drag him wherever its whims might take it. The master horseman, however, does neither. He respects the power of the stallion. He does not seek to destroy its spirit, but to understand it, to partner with it, and to guide its incredible strength with a firm, intelligent hand. He knows that once trained, this wild power will become his greatest asset. This is the very inner conflict men face with their own emotions. We are often taught to see our feelings, anger, sadness, fear, joy, in the same two foolish ways. One path is suppression. We are told to man up, to crush our feelings, to pretend they don't exist. This is the attempt to break the stallion. It leads to a brittle, inauthentic life where a man is disconnected from his own inner world, and the suppressed energy inevitably erupts in destructive ways. The other path is complete submission. A man becomes a slave to his temper, a prisoner of his anxiety, or is carried away by fleeting passions. He is the rider being dragged by the wild horse. The problem is that both paths lead to a life that is out of control. Both suppression and submission are forms of weakness, born from a fundamental misunderstanding of what emotions are. The transformative solution, the second great truth a man must master, is that your emotions are not your masters, nor are they your enemies. They are powerful, vital signals. They are raw energy. The truth is that emotions are simply information from your inner world, and your job is to become a skillful rider. The core idea is that between an emotional signal and your reaction, there is a space. In that space lies your opportunity to be the horseman. It is the moment where you feel the surge of the stallion's power, but instead of being thrown, you grip the reins, feel its energy, and consciously decide where that energy will be directed. You do not kill the stallion of anger. You harness its power and channel it into a decisive, constructive action. You do not drown in the river of sadness. You use its current to carry you toward a deeper understanding of what you have lost. This Stoic approach to emotional mastery is not about being an unfeeling robot. It is about becoming an emotional athlete. Think of a professional fighter. In the ring, he feels fear, he feels aggression, he feels pain, but he is not controlled by these feelings. He has trained himself to receive these signals and use them to inform his strategy. Fear tells him to be cautious, aggression fuels his power punches, pain tells him to protect a vulnerability. He is the master horseman in the chaos of the fight. This is the model of masculine emotional strength, not the absence of feeling, but the intelligent command of it. To begin your training as the rider of your own emotions, you must practice the discipline of name, understand, and redirect. For the next week, your mission is to become a detached observer of your own inner stallion. The moment you feel a powerful emotion begin to surge, especially a difficult one like anger or anxiety, your first step is to create that crucial space by naming the feeling. You must say to yourself, with the calm curiosity of a naturalist, this is anger, or this feeling is anxiety. This simple act of labeling separates you, the rider, from the horse, the emotion. It prevents you from being completely consumed by it. The second step is to ask, what is the message here? Do not judge the emotion as bad. Treat it as a messenger. What is this anger telling me? Perhaps it is signaling that a boundary has been crossed. What is this anxiety telling me? Perhaps it is signaling that I am unprepared for an upcoming challenge. You are not looking for an excuse to act out. You are looking for the raw data the emotion is delivering. This is the act of understanding the stallion's nature. The third and most powerful step is to consciously redirect the energy. Once you understand the message, you, the rider, must decide where the horse will go. If your anger signaled a violated boundary, you will not use its energy to yell and scream. You will channel that power into a calm, firm, and clear conversation to reestablish the boundary. If your anxiety signaled a lack of preparation, you will not let it paralyze you. You will harness its nervous energy and redirect it into focused, productive practice and study. You are taking the raw power of the emotion and giving it a virtuous and strategic purpose. The benefit of this practice is a profound sense of self-mastery and inner balance. You will no longer be afraid of your own feelings because you will understand their function and trust your ability to handle them. You will find that you have access to a much greater reservoir of personal power. Now that you are no longer wasting energy on suppression or being drained by emotional chaos, you will move through the world not as a man trying to kill his spirit or as a man being dragged by it, but as a masterful rider in perfect, powerful harmony with the magnificent energy of his own soul. You have learned to define your kingdom and to train the powerful emotions within it. Now, you must turn your gaze outward again, not with a desire to control, but with a need to understand the fundamental nature of the world you operate in. In our next lesson, we will confront a hard and liberating truth: the world's cold indifference. If you are ready to take the reins of your own emotional power, declare it in the comments. I am the rider. Your commitment signals your strength to this entire community. Please subscribe to Stoic Dominion and empower our collective journey. Lesson 3. The world's cold indifference. Imagine a seasoned sea captain navigating his ship across a vast, empty ocean. The ocean is not his enemy. It does not hate him or his ship. It does not conspire to create storms to thwart his journey, but neither is the ocean his friend. It does not care about his hopes, his dreams, or the urgent cargo in his hold. It does not offer him special treatment or clear skies because he is a good person. The ocean is simply a massive, powerful, and utterly indifferent force. It operates according to its own immutable laws: the tides, the currents, the weather systems. The captain's success and survival depend entirely on his ability to accept this fundamental indifference. He must respect the ocean's power, understand its laws, and navigate with skill without ever expecting the ocean to care about him. This is the stage for a deep and often painful inner conflict for every man. We walk through the world with a hidden, often unconscious expectation that it should be fair, that it should recognize our efforts, and that it should reward us for our virtues. We believe that if we work hard, are good people, and have noble intentions, then the world ought to give us what we deserve. The problem statement is this belief that the world owes us something, fairness, recognition, or rewards, is a direct path to bitterness, resentment, and a corrosive sense of victimhood. When we inevitably encounter unfairness, when our hard work goes unnoticed, or when tragedy strikes despite our best efforts, we feel betrayed. We shake our fist at the sky and cry, "This isn't fair." We are like a foolish captain yelling at the ocean for being an ocean, wasting our breath and spirit on a protest that the universe will never hear. The transformative solution, the third great truth a man must master, is to fully and completely internalize the world's profound indifference. This is not a cynical or pessimistic worldview. It is a liberating dose of reality. The core idea is that the universe, like the ocean, operates on its own vast impersonal principles. It does not have a personal agenda for or against you. Events happen, some will benefit you, some will harm you. To accept this is to release the world from the impossible burden of having to be fair to you. This frees you from the emotional prison of resentment and allows you to focus on what truly matters, not the fairness of the ocean, but the quality of your captaincy. This Stoic truth is a powerful antidote to the entitlement and victimhood culture that can so easily take root in a man's heart. The world does not owe you a great career. It does not owe you a loving partner. It does not owe you health or happiness. These are things you must build and cultivate with skill and effort within the indifferent environment of the world. Expecting the world to hand them to you because you are due is the strategy of a child. Mastering this truth allows you to approach life with the sober, responsible, and powerful mindset of a true adult. You are the captain of your ship on a vast, indifferent sea. The responsibility is yours alone. To begin integrating this difficult truth, you must practice an exercise in radical accountability. For the next week, you are forbidden from using the language of blame or fairness in your internal monologue. Your mission is to catch every thought that sounds like, "It's not fair," "He shouldn't have done that," or "Why does this always happen to me?" These are the telltale signs of a captain yelling at the ocean. When you catch one of these thoughts, you must perform a two-step mental maneuver. First, you must acknowledge the indifference of the world by saying to yourself, "The world is as it is. It operates on its own laws, not my preferences." This statement extinguishes the fire of protest. Second, you must immediately pivot back to your own ship, to your own sphere of control. You must ask the captain's question. Given this indifferent reality, what is my most skillful and virtuous response? For example, if you are overlooked for a promotion you felt you deserved, you catch the thought, "This is so unfair." You then correct it. The decisions of my superiors are a feature of the external world. They are the weather. Given this weather, what is my skillful response? Is it to improve my skills, to communicate my value more effectively, or to seek a different ship where my skills will be better recognized? This pivot from protesting reality to strategizing within reality is the hallmark of a master navigator. The profound benefit of this practice is the death of resentment and the birth of radical freedom. You will find that a huge emotional weight is lifted from your shoulders when you stop demanding that the world conform to your ideals. You will feel a surge of personal power as you take 100% responsibility for your own journey. You will become more resilient, more adaptable, and far more effective because your energy will be focused on skillful navigation, not on futile protest. You will learn to sail with the quiet confidence of the captain who has made peace with the vast, impersonal, and beautifully challenging nature of the sea. You now stand as a sovereign in your own mind, a master of your emotions, and a clear-eyed captain on an indifferent sea. But a ship without a destination is merely driftwood. To navigate effectively, a captain needs a star to guide him. In our next lesson, we will discover the most crucial element of a man's life: his purpose, his command. If you're ready to take full responsibility for your voyage, affirm it in the comments. I am the captain of this ship. Your assumption of command inspires the entire fleet, and please, subscribe to Stoic Dominion as we prepare to set our course. Lesson 4. Your purpose, your command. Imagine a master architect standing before an empty plot of land. In his mind, he holds a grand vision, a blueprint for a magnificent cathedral. This blueprint is not just a vague idea. It is a detailed, coherent plan. It dictates the depth of the foundations, the thickness of the walls, the height of the spires, and the placement of every single stone. Every decision made by the stonemasons, carpenters, and artisans will be guided by this single, unifying vision. The blueprint is the cathedral's soul, its reason for being. Without it, the workers would be laying stones at random, creating not a masterpiece, but a meaningless pile of rubble. A man's life is that plot of land, and his purpose is that master blueprint. This reveals a deep inner conflict that plagues modern man, a feeling of aimlessness and a lack of clear direction. We are often encouraged to go with the flow or keep our options open, but this often leads to a life of quiet desperation. We drift from job to job, relationship to relationship, and hobby to hobby without a unifying principle to guide our choices. The problem is that a man without a purpose is like an architect without a blueprint. He is highly susceptible to the opinions of others, easily distracted by fleeting pleasures, and prone to making choices that are inconsistent with the man he truly wants to be. He is building something, to be sure, but without a plan, he risks looking back on his life to find a chaotic pile of stones instead of the cathedral he secretly longed to create. The transformative solution, the fourth great truth a man must master, is that you must consciously and deliberately define your own purpose. Your purpose is your personal command, your highest priority mission. It is the master blueprint that will inform all of your other decisions. The core idea is that purpose is not something you magically find, it is something you build. It is a product of deep self-reflection, a conscious decision about what matters most to you, and a commitment to a set of guiding principles. Having a clear purpose is like having a North Star in the wilderness. No matter how lost or disoriented you may get in the dense forest of daily life, you can always look up, locate your star, and reorient yourself. This is the driving force behind the lives of all the great Stoics. Marcus Aurelius did not see his purpose as simply being emperor. He saw it as his duty to be a good man, to serve the whole, and to live in accordance with reason and nature. This was his blueprint, and it guided his actions, whether he was in his palace in Rome or in a military tent on the cold German frontier. Your purpose is what gives your life coherence, meaning, and power. It is the source of self-discipline, because it provides a profound why for the difficult actions you must take. It simplifies your life by providing a clear filter for what to say yes to and what to say no to. To begin the process of building your blueprint, you must become the architect of your own soul. This is not a 5-minute exercise. This requires a period of deep, honest reflection. For the next week, your task is to carve out at least 1 hour of total solitude. No phone, no computer, no distractions. During this time, you will meditate on and write down your answers to a series of foundational questions. Start with your values. What virtues are most important to me? What principles do I refuse to compromise? Think of words like integrity, courage, compassion, wisdom, growth. Next, think about your impact. When I am on my deathbed, what is the one thing I want to be remembered for by the people who matter most? What contribution, no matter how small, do I want to make to the world? Finally, synthesize these ideas into a single, powerful statement. This is your purpose statement. It should be concise and action-oriented. It might be something like, my purpose is to build a life of integrity, to face challenges with courage, and to use my strength to protect and provide for my family. Or my purpose is to master my craft, to share my knowledge with others, and to live each day with gratitude and presence. This statement is the first draft of your master blueprint. The benefit of this deep work is the emergence of a powerful, intrinsic motivation that will fuel you for the rest of your life. You will no longer need external validation to feel good about your path, because you will be operating under your own command. Decisions that were once confusing will become simple. Does this action align with my blueprint? If yes, I proceed. If no, I discard it. You will find a new resilience within you, because your purpose acts as an anchor in the storms of life. When things get difficult, you will be able to remind yourself of your why. You are no longer laying stones at random. You are the master architect, deliberately and skillfully building your cathedral. You are a king in your castle, a rider of your own emotions, a captain on the sea, and now an architect with a blueprint. There is one final, crucial truth to master, the one that ties all the others together. It is the understanding of where true strength ultimately comes from. In our final lesson, we will enter the forge and learn how strength is forged in hardship. If you are ready to draw your own blueprint, declare it in the comments. I am the architect of my life. Your commitment to purposeful living is the foundation of this community. Subscribe to Stoic Dominion, and let's build together. Lesson 5. Strength forged in hardship. Imagine a master blacksmith in his forge, a glowing piece of steel resting on his anvil. His goal is to create a legendary blade, one that is incredibly strong, razor-sharp, and yet flexible enough to bend without breaking. How does he achieve this? Does he protect the steel from stress? Does he keep it away from the searing heat of the fire? No. He does the exact opposite. He deliberately subjects the steel to the most extreme hardships. He heats it in the forge until it is white hot, then pulls it out and hammers it relentlessly, shaping it with violent, concussive blows. He plunges it into the water, shocking its molecular structure. He folds it, hammers it, and heats it again and again. The strength, the sharpness, the very soul of the blade is born directly from this brutal, deliberate process of trial and transformation. This final image reveals the most misunderstood truth about masculine strength, and it is the source of our final inner conflict. We desire strength, resilience, and fortitude, yet we spend most of our lives actively avoiding the very things that create them. We seek comfort, we prize convenience, and we view hardship as an unwelcome interruption to our lives, something to be endured or avoided at all costs. The problem statement is this: our aversion to difficulty is the very thing that keeps us weak. We want the qualities of a legendary blade, but we are terrified of the blacksmith's forge. By constantly choosing the path of least resistance, we ensure that our character remains soft, untested, and brittle. When a real crisis strikes, we shatter because we have never been properly tempered. The transformative solution, the final and most powerful truth a man must master, is that strength is not a gift, it is a forged product. Hardship is not an obstacle to your development, it is the main ingredient of your development. The core idea is that every challenge, every setback, every painful experience is the blacksmith's hammer, an opportunity to forge your character into something stronger. Voluntary or involuntary, every trial is a chance to burn away impurities, to increase your resilience, and to temper your soul. A man who understands this truth no longer fears difficulty. He may not seek it out recklessly, but when it arrives, he sees it for what it is, a visit to the forge. This is the absolute heart of the Stoic philosophy. The Stoics were not grim pessimists who reveled in suffering. They were pragmatists of the soul who understood the mechanics of human character. They practiced voluntary hardship, sleeping on hard surfaces, eating simple food, enduring cold, not because they were masochists, but because they were training. They were the blacksmiths of their own character, deliberately applying the hammer so that they would be ready for the unavoidable blows of fate. They knew that a man cannot be called strong until his strength has been tested. To begin to live this truth, you must stop running from discomfort and start leaning into it, even in small ways. Your task this week is to choose your forge. You will intentionally introduce one manageable, voluntary hardship into your daily routine. This is not about self-punishment. It is about controlled tempering. It could be a physical challenge. Take cold showers, commit to a workout program that pushes you, or practice intermittent fasting. It could be a mental challenge. Tackle the difficult project you have been avoiding. Have the uncomfortable conversation you have been putting off. Or commit to reading a challenging book instead of scrolling on your phone. Choose one thing and commit to it for the week. As you perform this difficult action, your job is to pay close attention to the voice of resistance in your head. That whining, complaining voice that begs you to stop, to seek comfort, to take the easy way out. That is the voice of your weakness. Your task is to acknowledge that voice and then deliberately do the hard thing anyway. Each time you override that voice, you are the blacksmith swinging the hammer. You are consciously and deliberately forging your own will. You are not just building muscle or finishing a project. You are fundamentally reshaping your relationship with hardship. The incredible benefit of this practice is the birth of genuine, unshakable confidence. This is not the fragile ego of a man whose confidence depends on success and comfort. This is the quiet, deep confidence of a man who knows he can endure. He trusts himself, not because he believes he will never fail, but because he knows that he has the strength to handle failure. He is no longer afraid of the storms of life because he knows he is forged from a material that can withstand them. He discovers that the very things he used to fear are the sources of his greatest power. He is the blade, sharp, strong, and ready, not in spite of the fire, but because of it. You have walked through the 5 great truths. You know that your kingdom is your mind, your emotions are your allies, the world is indifferent, your purpose is your command, and hardship is your forge. These are not just ideas, they are the tools to build an unshakable life. Thank you for your time and for your commitment to this journey of strength. Your dedication to self-mastery is a testament to your character. If these truths have resonated with you, like this video, share your own commitment in the comments, and subscribe to Stoic Dominion to continue forging your indomitable will.